beginning of my video. Boom!
Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer!
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things. It was over in a snap.
We really want it. Alright, we'll be nice.
Only you can be a Patreon.
Oh my gosh!
That's crazy.
You don't need to follow the show to be hyped.
All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here.
Man, that was quick, dude. You caught me like mid-sentence. I'm gonna do it anyway. Hello, Boring Review Nation! Gay!
Oh, you little punk.
I had to do it.
What are we checking out today, Gabe?
We're gonna check out Krish 3. Now, Nick, all we know about it is that it's a Hrithik Roshan film. We've had discussions before on this channel about him. Super good looking dude. I'm not sure if he's got the acting chops of others that we have seen. Obviously he doesn't have the acting chops like Amir Khan or a Big B, but he's a pretty big star. Most action stars aren't, though. You know what I mean? Let's just be real. Where American action stars, very few of them have the acting chops there. You're like, wow, that guy's amazing. And when we're talking about, man, you take your pick from Schwarzenegger to Arnold to, I mean, that same person, so to Sly, back in the day, he's like, oh, that's the same person. But, none of those guys have ever been accused.
That was so good.
None of them have ever been accused, you know what I mean, of being an Errol Fitzgerald's, you know what I mean, being Meryl Streeps of the world. So that's not what you expect when you go to see their films. You expect to see something entertaining, some action, you know what I mean? So that's more than likely. And again, you mentioned that this is kind of like a superhero film. We're all about the superhero films. It's funny because behind you got the DC and you got the Marvel sign, but one of my favorite comic book adaptations, which technically is now DC, but it was I cannot remember the original Watchmen. What was Watchmen under originally? Do you remember? I can't remember, but there's a show on HBO. Watchmen is really good. It's under DC now, but before it was somebody else. I can't remember who it was originally. It wasn't Dark Horse Comics. That was Spawn. You remember Spawn came out like late 90s, early 2000s? Spawn. So like those darker comics, man. So I love it doesn't have to be the mainstream superheroes for me to enjoy it. As far as the superhero movie's concerned, a superhero movie that I saw that wasn't mainstream at all, and I really, really enjoyed. And I've talked about it on this channel before. The Guns just directed it. Bright is awesome, and it's superhero / Brightburn. There you go. And it was superhero, / horror. So as long as the superhero's done well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a recognizable name. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, Watchmen was always DC. Came out in 86, 87.
Okay.
But again, maybe this is this variation of the Watchmen. I don't know. It's impressive when you talked about the Arnold and the Schwarzenegger. I mean, how many people can go by one name, but not just one name, but two one names, and you know who we're talking about? I mean, that's pretty impressive for my boy Arnie. I'm not sure what Arnold Schwarzenegger's reputation is in India or Pakistan or other places, but I love Arnold and I love his movies. Me and my friends, we used to work at a restaurant. We would quote Arnold lines every single day, and we had about a half dozen of our favorites that we would quote all the time. My family goes crazy because every time they say, "Hey, Dad, isn't this cool?" I'll always say, "This is really cool," and it's from the Jingle All the Way movie. He says that when he talks about the karate bands or whatever. Or there's just so many good lines. You son of a, from Predator and whatnot. There's so many good Arnold lines, and I can say them all day, but Arnold's the best. Anyways, way off track. Let's check out.
Remember that? Bro, I tell you what though, he's never been accused of being the best actor, but man, he does have some great one-liners. I'll be back, bro. I'll be back. You know what I mean? Has been used in so many different films, and just that phrase. He made that phrase. He should have. I hope he copyrighted that thing. We may get charged. We may get another copyright check right now because I said I'll be back. That's like the most famous line in all cinema. Okay, so let's just be real. He's not the best actor, but he's a guilty pleasure.
Oh, he is unbelievable. One of my favorite lines is from Kindergarten Cop. You hit the kid, I hit you. I mean, the man is awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into Krish 3. I'm super excited about this. We've been requested. We have requests for this that date back. We're gonna start at second 5. All right, Gabe, on this one. Second 5.
Give me a second so I can get there. Boom. All right, ready?
You know it.
3, 2, and 1.
Filmcraft.
थैंक यू जादू तुम्हारी धूप से मिलने वाली शक्तियों का राज
I love it.
अब मैं समझ गया हूँ अगर मेरा एक्सपेरिमेंट कामयाब हुआ तो इस दुनिया को इंसानियत को एक नई शुरुआत मिलेगी
Yeah, Bruce Banner type thing.
काल की कायनात में वेलकम
Like Katana from Mortal Kombat. Oh, it was Toady. Nice. Oh, cool. Rakesh Roshan. I wonder if that's a relative to Hrithik. Dude, I'm not gonna say that was I'm not gonna say that was high quality special effects that we're used to, like with the Marvel films, but that still looked pretty good. That looked a lot more interesting and a lot more well put together than Doom 2 did. I don't know anything about Krish 1 or 2, but this one looked cool. I was confused about the two Hrithik in that movie. Like, is it like an alter ego? Is it like
Right.
we split the cells and became two different people?
Right.
Is it like a Nutty Professor type thing, different personalities? I'm not sure, but I'm definitely interested in this. You got all these different superheroes, looks like from different planets. And I mean, he caught that one like super speed Flash type lady or whoever that was right in midair or whatever. That was pretty cool. I liked that.
Yeah, it has some pretty cool shots in there. I'm conflicted because there were some cool shots, like when the camera slowly panned and you saw that like that building was destroyed, and you could even see the rebar coming out of the cement. Like that was a super cool shot there. But then there was like the bad guy, like with the metal sticking to him, bothered me. It reminded me of like oh god, the Fantastic Four, the latest one. I gotta find out so I could direct the hate to the person. I keep saying the one Michael B. Jordan's in. It wasn't like he directed it, but I'm just disappointed he even made that film. Like, bro, what were you thinking? Okay, but that Fantastic Four, it reminded me of that kind of Fantastic Four movie where the level quite wasn't up there as far as like the the visual effects, you know what I mean? But it did look pretty good. And like I said, for a superhero movie, I'll check it out. The outfits in Kick-Ass weren't great, and that turned out to be really, really good. Even in Watchmen, a lot of people were like complaining, like, hey, you know, these outfits, you know, look kind of over the top. It's a part of Watchmen. It's supposed to be over the top. And it turned out to be awesome. I think I rated it. I know I rated it in my top 10 comic book movies of all time. Whenever we did that, when we did that review or actually reaction a couple months back. But I'll check it out. Like I said, love action. Something I could definitely sit down and watch with the kids. We'll see, you know what I mean, where it falls on our list of priorities of things to watch. I know I already have a watch list of things I have to watch, but let us know in the comments how good this was. Let us know if it's a thing where you gotta watch, you know, Krish 1 and 2 before you watch Krish 3, because you know backstory matters sometimes, and it, you know, it helps if you understand the story from the very beginning. Like for instance, me and Nick talked about this. I say you know, Endgame is one of the greatest films of all time. And of course, I'm biased. I'm a comic book fan, but Endgame would not make sense if you had not seen Infinity War. So you have to put those two together. So is this one where we need to have that backstory from Krish 1 and 2 in order to watch Krish 3? Even like, for instance, John Wick, right? You really can't jump into John Wick 3 or John Wick 2 without knowing the backstory of John Wick 1. You know what I'm saying? So, just let us know in the comments what you think.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I want to say I've heard from some of our viewers in the comment section of other videos where this came up, where they had said that for the most part, Indian movies don't follow that when the sequels come about. It's the same characters, or not, it's the same actors, but different characters. So like in the Bogheim movies, I want to say that his name might be Ronnie in all of them, but he's not the same character in all the Bogheim movies. He's a different character with a different background, which to us is very interesting because sequels here, you know, in Hollywood, in the States or whatever, it's linear. It follows some type of thing, or it's a prequel or whatever. There was something I really liked about that I forgot that I wanted to mention. I can't remember what it was now, but there was some elements of that where obviously this does still look over the top. It doesn't look like it has the best shots, but one thing it reminded me of, and this is going to sound like an insult if you've seen the movie, but it's not. One of my favorite guilty pleasures superhero movies is a movie called Meteor Man. I'm not sure if you've ever seen Meteor Man before with Robert Townsend, but that movie it's not you know, huge special effects, but it's got a nice story. It's got a nice heart to it. It's a cool little story about a guy that gets hit with a meteor and gets superpowers for a limited time. And, you know, he doesn't do the typical superhero things that you think most would do. And for some reason, it kind of gave me that feel. I'm not sure why. It might be nothing to do with that, whatever. But maybe that's just my way of giving a small plug to Meteor Man. I love that movie.
Man, you went old school with it. Just dig it in the crates, man. Woo!
Dude, Don Cheadle's in that movie. I'm not sure if you realize that. He plays one of the gangsters with the gold hair. Yeah. Or maybe he's one of the few that does not have the gold hair, but he's part of the Gold Lions, the gang. And yeah, that's one of his early roles, man.
Yeah, no, did not realize that. Did not see that. That's an old school film. That's an old school film. You know, they had asked us to watch classic movies and even like do one a month, and we're doing a classic film shortly on this channel, which was sent to us, The War. And you know, sometimes, man, those classic films are even though the visual effects don't hold up, and even though, you know, some of it might look cheesy now, but I just feel like the storylines were so much better back then for the most part. You know what I mean? Where right now, I can predict 99.9% of the time what's going to happen in a film. You know what I mean? And you know as well as I do, I tout myself highly, especially when it comes to comic book films. Like, yep, I was right about X-Men. I was right about this. I was right about that. I called Spider-Man Far From Home. Did I not? On the channel. If you guys don't believe, go back in our comments. I called the the Scarlet Witch. Remember how I told you they're gonna bring in mutants into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Did you see how they're now playing up Scarlet Witch on the she brought back Vision, alternate universe? Bro, she's the most powerful person.
It hasn't happened yet.
I'm telling
There's
you.
still a small chance.
My head's gonna explode when it happens. You're like, listen, I need to be writing. Somebody send us a check. You know what I mean? I'm quarantined anyway. Let me and Nick write a movie. We're good to go. But
that would be fantastic.
You know what I mean? Like I can predict, and like a lot of the older school movies, they were just original ideas. And I think that the reason I can predict a lot of these films is because they go with the same old, what a copy, you know what I'm saying, of prior films. And, those ideas have already been hashed out. So once you've seen them a few times, you can already see it coming. And the foreshadowing is so blatant in a lot of these movies. You're like, okay, I see where this is going. So yeah, just a shout out to old films as well. And Dewar, which we're going to be reviewing on the channel pretty soon. Some of the classics. We saw Sholay and reviewed it not too long ago. Check out the review on Sholay. You know what came on TV? This was the last time I was hanging out before the big quarantine happened, and I was hanging out with my mom, and she loves the oldies and whatnot. And what came on TV, and I'm like, all right, I'll watch it to you. One of her favorite movies, and mind you, my mom is originally Dominican, so her English wasn't the best, but she loved this film coming up. She's a huge Sylvester Stallone fan. Have you ever seen the movie Oscar?
No.
Sylvester Stallone comedy, one of his few comedies, and it's early on too. It is hilarious. You have to watch Oscar, and she loves this film. So I just sat down and watched it with her or whatever. And it's a over-the-top comedy film, but it's intended to be, and I think you'll love it. I think our audience will check it out. That's what we should do too, like start giving recommendations of old school classic films too, like something people may not necessarily know about right away. Like we talked about Cobra, remember that a couple of reviews ago? That's a real old movie. I wouldn't call it a classic, but it was a good old film. But yeah, anyway, let us know in the comments if you guys want some suggestion of old school films, and keep giving them on. Like I said, we've got a few priorities that we got to take care of first, but it's coming.
Yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're doing. Hopefully, you're surviving. Check out our Twitter feed and on our Twitter. Yeah, we have a Twitter, but we're not really putting much on it. Check out our Instagram and see what's going on there. And as always, until next time,
we know all things.